I got multiple phones, and what I'm gonna do, since I got multiple phones, right? So on my left side, I'm live on YouTube, and on my right side, I'm live on this one, on TikTok. And I was thinking about, because I got another phone, I was thinking about, should I go live on like Facebook or IG as well? I mean, I do got another phone. But I think Facebook is like more like, well, at least when I started, because I started when it started. It's like families and shit. But YouTube and this one is like worldwide. So I think that's the only good ones. There's others, but I don't know. This one seems easier for me. You know. Um, Went to the thing, got this. It's important. I had to get that. In order to do this upcoming gig that I'm about to do. It's just the physical. Um, so alright, we're gonna talk some cause I don't hold on. Look, I don't like what's happening. I don't like what's happening in New York with this mayor. I think um I think people gotta denounce certain shit, and come to a realization that you're on the wrong side. I mean, it's never gonna happen, but this guy is a punk, man. Like you could tell. I think people who lived it in real life, who are born here, right, went through the '90s, '80s. I think they should be the ones in charge. Now you might say this guy went through those. Yo, this guy's privileged, man. I'm getting tired of watching these people who never went through shit dictate terms and shit. Like, yo, I could just slap you. I'm surprised nobody like what's going on. Like, why is that noise keep spreading? Like it's all right. It's all right under your nose and shit because people don't pay attention. You know, I guess for the esoteric, the gnosis, the elites or whatever. Well, you know, I don't realize my language is just be for a few, but on a mass scale, people are in the dark about this situation. And it's like, what is going on in people's heads? Like, I really think there's a problem with attention, even though well, maybe it has to do with all the internet stuff, right? But I feel like there's an attention that's been lost because of all of this, and people don't really know what's going on, despite what you see spread around. It's a conundrum. It's like a face to face, and it's like there's a lot of hypocrites. They say one thing and then do another, and the higher up you get, you realize words matter. You know, and then, well, it means everything. Words create everything. Ever heard expression, abracadabra? You know, you create, and there's nobody doing that, you know, because they got lost, and the distractions, the access, the attempt to eradicate certain principles, and so I think like the attention span has degraded, and there's just a lot of pretenders, you know, a lot of pretenders who sound good in the camera, right, or in the post. I think they make themselves to be something they're not. But in reality, man, the guy never went through shit. You know, so you want people who know the earth, the ground, and especially a connection somehow of this country. You know, and I got a lot of frustration built, and I think I would be a problem if I become an opponent for any of these new age opponents that, you know, people think are intriguing. Yeah, I don't think, you know, like if it came down to it, you know, I don't think they could win. Especially this mayor. You know, I went to, I was born in the hospitals right down the street. Not in, you know, I didn't come from another place and shit and just want to run it. I went to schools, high schools. I played baseball. I played sports. I came out in scripts, little movies, but I was just, you know, in the field. I wasn't no main character. I came out supposedly in this movie called, I never saw it, but at that time, you know, it was a big camera crew. And so I don't want to digress, but I played baseball, I played basketball, I played football, I played wrestling. We wrestled like in gym class. There was a wrestler. You know, my cousin taught me because he was a wrestler, and so, you know, these things were ingrained in the whole science and native inhabitants. And then you got somebody like that guy who comes from another place, doesn't know the culture, never went to schools, you know what I mean? Like, don't know the language in depth, and wants to dictate terms. People don't even speak English. You know, like at what point? And the thing is, I get it. Your most of your families are mixed. Mine's too. But I'm Joseph. I'm the one that saw them kneeling before me. So what I'm trying to say, we're different. We're different. We stand out. We're not. We don't come with weak ideas. You know, and you need somebody in your office to represent that kind of authenticity, not clowns and shit. So I'll challenge anybody physically, even if it's boxing or UFC. Of course, we're talking about for money and the world could see. I'll challenge you intellectually. Shit, just recently, I see what that guy Howard Terrence or whatever is doing. But I'll challenge you. I'll challenge you on intellectual topics. I'll challenge you on politics. What's going on in the world? I'll challenge you in music, man. Like what you wanna dance? What do you wanna do? You wanna exercise? I'll challenge you. I forget there's another one. And you know what I mean? We could go bar for bar. Uh, every step. And what you'll find is that a lot of you don't even qualify. You know? So let me see who's on. Yeah, I'm noticing that there's a time difference between both of them. See, I'm looking at, now that I'm not live, right? Looking at the difference and shit from YouTube and this one. And it's like I'm faster on one side than the other. But I don't know. That's dope. So, where was I? It was just raining and shit. So getting back to this Mondani guy, right? I think people gotta step up, man. Like, maybe you gotta, maybe it's the young, the millennials, right? Who gotta talk to their parents or some shit. And because even their ideas, like I said, I think different. My ideas are way different from my biological parents, my earth parents, let's say. Because you know who my real parents is, LZTHIR13. But my earth parents, they tend to think like, they want to go back to where they were born and retire there. Most people do that. Most immigrants think like that, So that influence, that type of thing you instill within the next generation is a distraction, a side note, that if they were brilliant and smart enough to listen maybe to a kid, one of the kids who are smart enough, this is a gap, They think you don't know nothing. Meanwhile, you're learning everything. You're born here. You speak English, and you got to come home and speak, their language when you get home. It could be Spanish, Jamaican, whatever it is. I spent too much game here, man. God damn. And, most families and children that grow up into a family like that um, get stuck into their parents' ideals, and there's never an elevation or a growth. So the black sheeps, or the ones that have more connection, usually excelled. And you know, this guy you got, I don't know how y'all allowed that shit. Like, damn. Um, it's it's common sense, man. Like, don't you see it, you sense it. Like, even if you think, about all the religions, right? You'll gather input, and you'll describe the most friendliest to the most violent. Buddha, what is it? Christian, Catholics, the Quran, on and on. You gather all these religions, right? And you study and look at the difference. You'll come up and you'll be like, wait a minute, it's like it's hot and cold, or cold from hot, Which ones are more prone to evil and violence? And hopefully you got discernment for that, where you could tell the difference. But a lot of you, like I said, grow up stuck because you're stuck to their old ideals. That has nothing to do with you being brought up and born in this situation, So an advocate for that sort of voice was basically voiceless until now, of course, but it all comes about that we have to choose the right representatives, and not jokes like what's going on in New York and shit, Nah, that's all I really wanted to say, I know it took a little while, but that was something I was a little frustrated about. And we're gonna work out. I'm gonna work out, like I got the weights. So I'm gonna start clocking in, because these fighters are looking like a meal. These fighters that you see popping through, even rappers, man, they're starting to look like something to eat. And like I said, bar for bar, politics, physical, boxing, wrestling, UFC. Shit, I'll do a NASCAR, man. I don't know my driving skills. I let y'all think y'all know how. You know what I mean? Like I just drive like some normal person, but I'm fast and furious, baby. All right, we'll talk later. It's still early. I just did a lot of shit. All right, one. That's that with all that. I got two of these, motherfuckers.